Hey guys, this is Val. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use ComfyUI to animate DAZ or 3D renders or any image for that matter locally on your own PC. So I'm not going to cover how to install ComfyUI. I did that in the previous video. So once you have it up and running, you head to templates and I'm going to choose video. I'm going to at the very top, if you don't see, we're going to be using this model here, Wan 2.2 14B, image to video. If you don't see that, you can just scroll, or you can just enter up here, Wan 2.2, right? So once that loads, it looks pretty intimidating at first, right? First of all, if you left click here on this black space and hold the mouse button pressed, you can move around the canvas, all right? If you use the mid mouse button, the scroll wheel, and scroll and zoom in or out, right, with the wheel, you can then navigate inside this area. Now, first thing we're gonna do is load our image. So right about here in this section, step number 2, we're gonna click on this icon, and I'm just gonna choose one of my DAZ renders. This one is 1280 times 720 large. So we're going to move ahead to step 3 here and enter the same screen proportions. Now, very important, you don't need to use the same screen proportions, right? You can use something smaller. And this, if you click on plus, as you can see, it jumps in increments of 16. So it's not always possible to get exactly, like for instance, if I enter 1920 and 1080, it's not really possible, right? But that's fine. It doesn't need to be exact. It can be just as close as possible to your original render. You can then later scale or change the proportions. Now, here's how this works. ComfyUI and this whole thing works on your local PC. So it uses your graphic card. Right now, I'm on an RTX 490, which is a pretty decent card, right? Now, here's the thing. The resolution, the higher you go, the more memory it takes, VRAM, right? The longer the animation, in this case it's 81 frames, the longer it is, the more memory it takes. Now if you scroll down a little bit here to the right, you see it says FPS, frames per second, it says 16. So all these elements, the resolution, the length, and the frames per second, all contribute to memory consumption. If you run out of memory, you're gonna get either an error or you're gonna get really awkward animations that just break and look totally chaotic, right? So what I recommend, especially maybe if you have a lower graphic card than RTX 490, is to start a little bit lower. Just go gentle. 81 is a good top length. Anything above that might start to look a little bit funky at times, depending on your graphic card again, right? And Wan 2.2 is really one of the best models out there for animating locally, and it's kind of getting a little bit awkward at times above 81. I've tried up to 120, 140. It works, but sometimes it just breaks, right? So keep it 81 if you can or lower. Now, frames per second is an interesting thing. 16 is the default. You can go up and down. 16 is really good, but if you have a not super fast motion, I recommend go for 15, and then you can, upscale your video and also use a higher frame rate when you're upscaling, like 30 frames per second, right? And anything above that is a no-go. This is just gonna blow up your graphic card. Anything below 15, don't use that. It's not gonna look good. So 15 is what I recommend for slower motion. If you can go higher, you can go 16 as well, right? Gonna use 15 today, and just use a very small resolution for today's test. Thing is, I'm screen recording at the same time, and that needs to also fit into my graphic card, right? So pretty much on the right side up here, you've got save video. You don't need to touch this, but you can do a file name prefix if you want. Format, as of now, just one to choose from, and codec also right now, just one to choose from, and that's H.264. You don't need to select these. This will automatically be saved to your output folder in your installation. Now, the only thing you need to worry about then is to here describe what you want to happen. This negative prompt, don't touch it, don't remove it. There's nothing shocky here, it just prevents artifacts, broken stuff and all that. Here's the thing, we wanna, again, if you watch my Kling video, I mentioned that, all the AI animations can be really dramatic. You can have a spaceship land behind her, you can have a male character come into the frame and interact with her. You can do whatever you want here, right? And also just a quick fair warning, Wan 2.2 is unrestricted to some extent. That means it's not safe for work, which means you can do not safe for work animations with it. Now, having that said, we're gonna just do a gentle thing here, just like I mentioned in my Kling video. The more gentle you go here, the less random weird artifacts you're gonna get, because AI at times is a little bit funky, right? So, woman turns towards camera and smiles. All right, camera moves slowly. We can go forward towards her. And all you do now is click on run. When you click run, it ends up on your assets section right about here. You can click there and expand. Right now we don't have anything here, but once these start to become generated, they end up here, so you can play them back and so forth. But the thing is, you can run multiple. So while we are waiting for that one to finish, we're gonna enter another one. So we're gonna slightly change here. Woman stands idle, camera moves slowly backwards all the time. I'm gonna run that again, and then it ends up here as a queue. We can have, I've had like 30 queue, in my queue at times, and that works unless you run out of memory, then it doesn't work. So all is good until it's not, right? Okay, so let's do one more. A blonde woman in red dress enters the frame from the left and approaches the woman in the white dress. They hug and laugh or smile. All right, and this time around we are not gonna do anything with the camera. So the camera can remain idle or still. At times it will not. This is an AI, right? AI is always doing funky things at times, and it's a wonderful technology. It works wonders at times, but in a lot of cases it generates awkward stuff, breaks stuff, animations get broken, stuff get broken and all that. You don't get always what you want. So having been using ComfyUI now for quite some time, and also making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos with it, I just know that it's good, but it's not always good, right? It's an aid, it's a tool in your toolbox. Now, if I go back to assets, I now have these two now done. Let's play back this one here. I think this is the second one, right? Not sure what happened here. The camera is moving slightly backwards. That kind of works. She just stands idle. Just like I showed, in the Kling video, when you're gentle on the prompt, when you don't try to jump to the moon and back, it usually works pretty well. Now, it's a little bit tough to play them back, because if you play here, if you scroll to the right, you see the latest now with the red girl, right? I'm gonna look at that in a moment. But this second one, if you want to, click on the plus sign, it doesn't really expand, and it's not possible to play back that way. When you click here, it ends up instead being full screen, which I don't want to have right now. So the only way to play this back properly, if you go here to your hard drive, you can see they end up in the output folder called video, right? By default. So here we can grab this one 441 and just play it back here. And I mean, 640 times 360 ain't the best resolution, but you can see it works pretty well. She stands idle, camera moves backwards. Pretty neat. Now, let's take a look at the first one, which is this one here, 1440, which is this. Play back. Let's loop it. We asked our girl to turn around, look into the camera, smile, and camera moves slightly forward. Wan 2.2 tends to make your characters slightly more realistic. They will maybe not look exactly Hollywood type, but your animations will look a tad more realistic towards the photoreal spectrum, right? Now let's take a look at the last one, which is the red lady, the blonde entering the scene, hug, and smile. Perfect. All right. That looks awesome. So you see, the image you feed into AI is the starting point. It doesn't define what happens. It's just a starting point. But important nevertheless, it's a starting point you control. Especially if you do a DAZ render and throw it in here, you control that render 100%. So let's end today's video by just doing a different animation and use also a higher resolution. So I'm gonna grab one of my DAZ renders here and I'm gonna do HD and I'm gonna use 15 frames per second and I'm just gonna enter here. The woman makes cool fashion type poses and looks confident and sexy, and camera orbits around her to the left, and that's it, and let's run. Now, you know, camera motion is something that very often Wan can misinterpret a little bit. This is true for most AI, by the way, and unfortunately this is just what happens, right? You can write all kinds of, you know, camera motion, and like I said, the more you enter, the more likely it will break, right? So keep it simple. And our animation is done. And by the way, you can see how long they took. 82 seconds, 39 seconds, 72 seconds, and this little bit larger now is taking what, 237 seconds? That's a few minutes long, right? And we can just pause that and close this window and take a look at it here. This is now HD, so it's slightly more quality. It's playback. Wow, that looks pretty awesome. We have even moving shadows. I didn't ask it to, but it's moving the shadows and light. Pretty awesome. All right, and people ask me all the time, why do I go into AI? Well, duh, it's pretty amazing, right? So guys, that's all for today's video, which ties perfectly into the free 500 background package I have right now. You can just follow the link below this video and also here on screen and get 500 images you can play and feed into ComfyUI today. 500 of them. You can just feed them, add them here and animate all of them and have instant fun. Guys, go ahead, grab that package and have some fun, right? That's all for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, have fun, and I'll see you soon again.